Hello students, welcome back to our science video. After learning the different parts and function of plants, let's now discuss one of the most important process that happened in plants, which is the photosynthesis. At the end of this video, learners are expected to explain the process of photosynthesis in plants. Let's start this video by showing you this diagram. This diagram shows the process of photosynthesis in plants, wherein it shows that carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight are needed to produce the byproducts such as oxygen and sugar, also known as glucose, a kind of monosaccharide containing 6 carbon atoms and an aldehyde group. Therefore, glucose is an aldohexose. But how many molecules of carbon dioxide and water are needed to produce these byproducts? Based on the chemical equation, in order for photosynthesis to produce 1 molecule of glucose and 6 molecules of oxygen, it requires 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 6 molecules of water. The number of the atoms in the reactants are equal to the number of atoms in the product side, such as glucose and oxygen. As long as water and sunlight are present, the first phase of photosynthesis will take place, while carbon dioxide is used in the second phase of the process. Let's examine the external and internal structure of a leaf using the following pictures. You may click the suggested topic on the upper right side of this video to redirect you to our previous video that explains the following structures. But where does photosynthesis occur? Chloroplasts are organelles found in plant cells and eukaryotic algae that conduct photosynthesis. Chloroplasts absorb sunlight and use it in conjunction with water and carbon dioxide gas to produce food for the plant. There are different parts of the chloroplast. It has 2 membranes contain and protect the inner parts of the chloroplast. They are appropriately named the outer and inner membranes. The inner membranes surround the stroma and the grana or stalks of thylakoids. One thylakoid stalk is called a granum. But what is present in the chloroplast that enables the process of photosynthesis? Chloroplast has chlorophyll, which is a green pigment. As you can see in the picture, chlorophyll is located within the thylakoid membrane. There are 4 types of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll A found in all higher plants, algae and cyanobacteria. Chlorophyll B found in higher plants and green algae. Chlorophyll C found in diatoms, dinoflagellates, and brown algae, and chlorophyll D found only in red algae. Chlorophyll A is the major pigment used in photosynthesis, but there are several types of chlorophyll and numerous other pigments that respond to light, including red, brown, and blue pigments. These other pigments may help channel light energy to chlorophyll A or protect the cell from photo damage. There are 2 types of photosystem that are functional units for photosynthesis, defined by a particular pigment organization and association patterns, whose work is the absorption and transfer of light energy, which implies transfer of electrons. The chlorophyll is a special pairs of the 2 photosystems absorb different wavelengths of light. The photosystem 2 special pair absorbs best at 680 nanometer, while the photosystem 1 special absorbs best at 700 nanometer. Because of this, the special pairs are called P680 and P700 respectively. Photosynthesis has 2 phases. The light-dependent phase that occurs in the granum of the chloroplast, which has 3 major stages: chlorophyll photoactivation, photolysis, and photophosphorylation, that produces oxygen, NADPH, and ATP. While light-independent phase occurs in the stroma of the chloroplast, named after the American chemist Melvin Calvin, who discovered that carbon dioxide is fixed into a prefabricated 5-carbon sugar phosphate called ribulose bisphosphate or RUBP. Hence, the process is referred to as carbon fixation or Calvin cycle that produces glucose molecules. Let's discuss each stage of the 2 photosynthetic reactions. The first stage of light-dependent phase is called chlorophyll photoactivation. From the name itself, once light energy strikes the chlorophyll, chlorophyll at ground state will be activated and turn into excited chlorophyll and will release 2 energized electrons. In the second stage of light-dependent phase, water molecules will split into hydrogen ions and oxygen gas using the light-activated chlorophyll from the previous process. The used excited chlorophyll can return to its ground state form through cyclic or by using its own released electrons, or through non-cyclic by using the electrons released from water. Chlorophyll needs to return into its ground state form so it can be photoactivated again using the light energy. One of the byproducts of this stage is oxygen, coming from the splitting of water molecules, while the hydrogen and electrons from water will be used by the NADP, a kind of electron acceptor, to become NADPH and will be used in the light-independent phase. The third stage is photophosphorylation. The process of adding phosphate group to ADP is called phosphorylation. In photosynthesis, it is called photophosphorylation because the energy that starts the whole process is light. Once ADP or adenosine diphosphate, a kind of low energy, add a phosphate group, it will turn into ATP or adenosine triphosphate, a kind of high energy molecule that will also be used in the light-independent phase. In summary, the light-dependent reaction produces the following: oxygen gas that is released as a gaseous byproduct of photosynthesis during photolysis or splitting of water molecules using the activated chlorophyll, NADPH from NADP, hydrogen ion from water during photolysis and electron from chlorophyll photoactivation, and ATP, the biologically active energy currency from ADP, and inorganic phosphate from photophosphorylation in the presence of energy harnessed by chlorophyll from the sun. In plants, carbon dioxide enters the interior of a lip via pores called stomata and diffuses into the stroma of the chloroplast, the site of the Calvin cycle reactions where sugar is synthesized. These reactions are also called the light-independent reactions because they are not directly driven by light. In the Calvin cycle, carbon atoms from carbon dioxide are fixed and used to build 3-carbon sugars. This process is fueled by and dependent on ATP and NADPH from the light reaction. Unlike the light reactions which takes place in the thylakoid membrane, the reactions of the Calvin cycle takes place in the stroma or the inner space of the chloroplast. The Calvin cycle has 3 stages. In stage 1 or fixation, the enzyme Rubisco or ribulose bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase incorporates carbon dioxide into an organic molecule, 3-PGA or phosphoglycerate. In stage 2 or reduction, the organic molecule is reduced using electrons supplied by NADPH. In stage 3 or regeneration, RUBP, the molecule that starts the cycle, is regenerated so that the cycle can continue. Only one carbon dioxide molecule is incorporated at a time, so the cycle must be completed 3 times to produce a single 3-carbon GA3P or glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate molecule, and 6 times to produce a 6-carbon glucose molecule. To show what happened in each stage of Calvin cycle, let's use the following illustrations. The first stage of the Calvin cycle incorporates carbon from carbon dioxide into an organic molecule, a process called carbon fixation. In plants, atmospheric carbon dioxide enters the mesophyll layer of leaves by passing through pores on the leaf surface called stomata. It can then diffuse into mesophyll cells and into the stroma of chloroplasts, where the Calvin cycle takes place. In the first step of the cycle, an enzyme called Rubisco catalyzes attachment of carbon dioxide to a 5-carbon sugar called RUBP. The resulting 6-carbon molecule is unstable, however, and quickly splits into 2 molecules of a 3-carbon compound called 3-phosphoglycerate or 3-PGA. Thus, for each carbon dioxide that enters the cycle, 2 3-PGA molecules are produced. The reduction stage of the Calvin cycle, which requires ATP and NADPH, the product of light-dependent phase, converts 3-PGA into a 3-carbon sugar. This process occurs into 2 major steps. First, each molecule of 3-PGA receives a phosphate group from ATP, turning into a molecule called 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate and leaving behind ADP as a byproduct. Second, The 1,3-bis phosphoglycerate molecules are reduced or it gain electrons. Each molecule receives 2 electrons from NADPH and loses one of its phosphate groups, turning into a 3-carbon sugar called glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate or G3P. While some G3P molecules go to make glucose, while others must be recycled to regenerate the RUBP acceptor, regeneration requires ATP and involves a complex network of reactions. In order for one G3P to exit the cycle and go towards glucose synthesis, 3 carbon dioxide molecules must enter the cycle, providing 3 new atoms of fixed carbon. When 3 carbon dioxide molecules enter the cycle, 6 G3P molecules are made. 1 exits the cycle and used to make glucose, while the other 5 must be recycled to regenerate 3 molecules of the RUBP acceptor. 3 turns of the Calvin cycle are needed to make one G3P molecule that can exit the cycle and go towards making glucose. Let's summarize the quantities of key molecules that enter and exit the Calvin cycle as one net G3P is made in 3 turns of the Calvin cycle. 3 carbon dioxide combined with 3 RUBP acceptors, making 6 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate or G3P, wherein 1 G3P molecule exits the cycle and goes towards making glucose, while other 5 G3P molecules are recycled, regenerating 3 RUBP acceptor molecules. 9 ATP are converted to 9 ADP, 6 during the fixation step, 3 during the regeneration step, and 6 NADPH are converted to 6 NADP during the reduction step. A G3P molecule contains 3 fixed carbon atoms, so it takes 2 G3Ps to build a 6-carbon glucose molecule. It would take 6 turns of the cycle or 6 carbon dioxide, 18 ATP, and 12 NADPH to produce 1 molecule of glucose. Remember, the products of the light-dependent phase are used as reactants in the light-independent phase. Hence, the light-dependent reaction is a prerequisite to the light-independent reaction. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe by clicking the notification bell for more science educational videos.